Hey guys, Clarissa and I here again. New year, new camera, new microphone, broken computer. If you're wondering what happened to me, basically my then 3-year-old daughter decided to jump on the bed, landed on my laptop, and broke the screen completely off. So that's where I've been. But I thought I'd give the new camera a run and new microphone a run while she was not here. I've got my cats here with me at the moment. And I should do more videos this year because she's starting kinder this year. My little girl's 4 now, so she's starting kinder. It's going to be interesting given her problems. But I was just going to do a general update test video, but something's been going on in my community. Something that I felt like I had to address. And it's a problem. I am at the end of my tether with what's going on. There's something happening, and it's made national news, and for the wrong reasons. And that's basically, there's been a few incidents recently involving supposed gangs. And these gangs, these people that are young people who are part of these gangs, are of African descent. Now, youth crime has always been a problem. I think my parents, my grandparents and all that, they would tell you there's always been a problem with youth crime. But the media has been turning a spotlight on this crime recently, and one of the main organisations that's been causing trouble is, of course, the media owned by Rupert Murdoch. He owns most of the media here in Australia, and most of the media in Australia is right-wing, with a few outliers. We have The Guardian here, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, the ABC. It's government-owned, and it's actually neutral. Not that you could tell the people on the right that who believe it's actually hard left because they are so far right. But the majority of our media is actually owned by Rupert Murdoch. He owns a TV station. It's not as bad as Fox News, but he owns nearly all the newspapers, and even the ones that aren't Murdoch owned have been slanted right recently. Even the more mainstream, more factual Fairfax media has been shifting to the right, which is not good. Just like our politics, our two-party politics, we've got our hardline conservatives, that's your Liberal National Party. Don't let the name fool you, they're not Liberals, they're Conservatives. And the Australian Labor Party, which used to be the party of the people, but since the 80s, under Bob Hawke, have taken up neoliberalism and have gone to now sit in the centrist right. They're actually moderate conservatives. They do follow some social, I guess there's social progressives in some areas, but for the most part they're quite fiscally conservative. In fact, they're actually way better and much more conservative with our finances than the hardline conservatives. I mean, the highest spending Prime Minister in Australian history was John Howard. He's, of course, on the LNP, the Liberal National Party. But basically what happened was that there's been what they call a minor flare-up. It was just a couple of incidents. It's spot fires. But one main instigator of the problem was actually the Daily Mail UK. Now you probably figure, but they're the UK, what have they got to do with Australia? Well, they actually have a branch here now. And what they actually did was that there was a minor kerfuffle at the plaza, the main shopping centre in the area, and they instigated that. They riled up these young people and got them to have a go at the police. They basically said, we'll put you on the paper if you do this, and it caused a lot of trouble. And of course the Mail did a nice big long photo spread of all of these pictures of these young people, all black, saying African crime out of control in Australia. It's not. And then, of course, we had an incident not far from here, which was a Airbnb. A group of girls had hired it out, and it was gate crashed. You probably figured, yeah, but parties get gate crashed all the time by groups of youths. But the groups of youths aren't usually all of Sudanese. So a bunch of Sudanese, well, supposedly all Sudanese, young people got into this party and vandalised the area, basically threw rocks at police, pulled palings off fences, smashed a few windows, your usual riot behaviour. Nothing was set on fire. Policeman was hurt and people were arrested. 4 people were arrested because one of these young girls was assaulted. But overall, trends in the media in terms of crime have actually been going down. There was a peak of it in 2012, but compared to last year, in this area, and in fact in Victoria as a whole, crime is going down. The only thing in this area that has really gone up is that there's actually been a slight increase in aggravated burglaries. And the ones that get reported, because not all of them get reported, the ones that get reported are the ones involving, of course, the black people. And I just had a visitor say hello. Got my kitten, one of my cats. But yes, there's other crimes, of course. There was a recent footage put out of a man trying to break into a home, white. And if you actually look at the crime statistics, then most of the criminals in it are 25 and older. But that's not what they're reporting. They're reporting black crime, black gangs are on the rage. They're destroying this area. Another area that's been targeted by young people, of course, was a area called Eckerville. Now, Eckerville were the headlines because there's a community centre there that has been completely and utterly trashed. It's being repaired now, but the park, community centre was trashed. Now, one thing people don't realise is that Eckerville itself is a body corporate. It falls out of council jurisdiction. It falls out of the jurisdiction of the local government. Even it's a body corporate, and this body corporate is well known for not protecting their properties. The community will say, "We need more security. We need someone to be at staff this place all the time." There's nobody there. So when you have a situation like that, of course the kids are going to move in and trash the place. It's just what happens. I mean, we live in the West. It's what happens in the West. If they see an opportunity, they take it. But, of course, this community feels unsafe. But it wasn't helped that politicians on the right have come out attacking the government of Victoria. And the police commissioner has even said, the police chief has even said, please, we don't want people to get scared. We're handling as best we can. There is policies going through them. There's policies being changed. And, of course, the 2 main areas being, of course, youth engagement. Something needs to be done to stop these kids from joining the gangs in the first place. And, of course, I believe there needs to be a better rehabilitation program, because if you rehabilitate these kids properly, they can come back into society and they don't need to join gangs anymore. But locking them up and throwing away the key, as so many people are advocating for, just makes it worse. These kids come out of these prisons, they've learnt nothing, they've been isolated from the community, and they haven't learnt to fit in. They just go straight back into the crime. They become lifelong criminals. In these prisons, they meet lifelong criminals. They get contacts to even more extreme gangs. It's why you see places like Norway has a 30% recidivism rate, whereas America has a 70% recidivism rate. And I probably slaughtered that word. So which one works? Of course, in Norway. They have very, very strong rehabilitation programs. They don't treat their prisoners like animals. They treat them like humans. And these prisoners come out and they can go back into society. They fit in, they have the skills they need to find jobs. Whereas these more hardline prison systems, they don't teach these kids things. They teach them basically to be criminals. They treat them like animals, so they become animals. But that's not the main thing for me. That's not what's really what's making me lose my head, basically. It's just recently a group called the True Blue Crew have announced they're going to come over here and deal with the African gangs. Now, who are the True Blue Crew? Neo-Nazis. They are white supremacist, anti-Islam, anti-Jewish neo-Nazis. This is a group that have singled out Islam. They have gone up to Jewish people and chanted Nazi chants at them about how they should be in the gas chambers. One of them was arrested on terrorism charges. They've been caught with weapons, illegal weapons. They're not a good group, and vigilantism always makes it worse. And when you have a group like this that are going to come across, and they're going to target everyone who isn't white, everyone, it makes the situation worse. And what is driving me nuts is the fact that I'm online. I'm involved with all the online communities. I'm very active. What drives me nuts is there are so many people cheering them. They go on about what a weak government we have, because the state government here is the ALP. And they're trying to do fixes. They're bringing in fixes. It won't happen overnight. It's a generations-old problem. But they're cheering this neo-Nazis. And there was even one person on there going about how they believe in the White Australia policy. And now I'm getting lambasted by members of the community because I called the True Blue Crew Nazis. And I said that, you're a white nationalist, you're a white supremacist for believing in the White Australia policy. They're like, you can't do that. It's not Germany. It's starting to feel like it. These people are making the situation worse. There's one person saying that they won't even let their kids go outside and play. My daughter goes outside to play. She's 4. I see people walking their kids to school, and if they're saying the plaza is so dangerous that nobody goes there, it's packed. It's always packed. I mean, one of the ministers here, one of the opposition was saying how people are too scared to go out and eat. Even one of the federal politicians said people here are too scared to go out and eat dinner. We went out the other night. People aren't scared, but the media and the politicians are making them scared. And yes, there has been crime. And what people need, and people are saying I'm selfish for wanting to actually fix the problem. And I'm selfish for actually thinking about these kids, the kids that go into these gangs. But I want to help these kids. I want to get them out of the gangs. I want to help them before they join the gangs. And apparently I'm wrong for wanting to stop the crime before it starts. They want band-aid fixes. I want actual fixes. And racism and white supremacy and vigilantism isn't going to fix the problem. It's going to make it worse. In fact, before the True Blue Crew even announced that they were going to come over here, just probably 4 days ago, I said on the social media, this constant focus on just this one tiny group of the community is going to cause vigilantism. And the police, that's why they are not, we've got a police shortage. They've been negotiating for more numbers, but they're not going to do it out in the open while this is going on, because it will cause vigilantism. And sure enough, here it is, vigilantism. I told you so. I don't want to be right, but I am. Hello again. But it's driving me nuts. But what amount of people in this community? I am outnumbered. I am the rational head. I am being outnumbered and shouted down because I'm not racist. And what these people don't realise, and they keep calling deport them all. I'm disabled. I have a physical disability. And the reason I have this disability is because I was assaulted. And I was assaulted by the child of an immigrant. I've had my house targeted by immigrants. I've had by youth, children. But I've been a victim. I have been a victim. But I'm not going to let myself be ruled by fear, like some of these people are. And we've got a local member here, well, wants to be a local member here, and he just posts every single, there's two of them actually, him and another person. They just post every single article they can find about any crime in the area. They don't post the good stuff. They don't post the fact that there's been a reduction in crime. They just spread the fear, the hatred. It's starting to make an impact, and not in a good way. And I am terrified right now that a young African American is going to be killed. And there's persons that's going to be killed. He's going to have had nothing to do with the gangs. There's already been an increase in hate crime and racism against our very minority government, minority population, not in government, a minority population of Sudanese who have settled out here because we're a population displaced. 20 years ago, there were 70,000 people here. There's now 290,000 people living in this area. It's had a massive population boom. Infrastructure has not kept up. We're under-policed. Like I said, infrastructure hasn't kept up. There's nothing out here. The schools are full the minute they open. And kids are getting lost in the fold because of that. There's 30 kids per classroom, and I've worked as a teacher, and that's too many. And high schools in particular are severely lacking. And when these people, these kids, these Sudanese kids, and it's being reported, are going out and they are being abused, they are being shouted at, they are being targeted right now, and that's just going to force them to join these gangs, because that's why a lot of these kids join these gangs, because they have a dark skin, but people look down on them and they feel like the only place they can be accepted is in these gangs. We need to find a way to make them feel accepted. And it doesn't help that we've got a counsellor here who only represents a minority, not the Sudanese minority. We have a large Indian population here, and he only represents them apparently. And that doesn't help, because it makes everyone else feel bad, including these more minority groups like the Sudanese. More needs to be done to engage these people, to make them feel welcome in the community. And this fear and hatred, vigilantism is not going to make them feel welcome. And last thing we need is to turn into a place where people are going out and they are targeting people, and a young person is going to get killed, seriously. Someone is going to get killed, and I am going to blame the media. I'm going to blame Rupert Murdoch. I'm going to blame the politics of fear which the Conservatives love so much. And I'm going to blame neoliberalism that both our parties use. Because neoliberalism breeds anarchy. We need to sit back, look at what we're doing. It's not working. Hardline policies, locking these kids up, not working. Look at Norway. They have strong rehabilitation programs. It works. They come out of these prisons. Very few of them go back to prison. They become members of society that fit in. They've got the skills for jobs. They've got the skills to fit back in. And we need to work on engagement. They're making it more and more expensive to go to school here. And the last thing we need is for kids to drop out of school. We need to get these kids involved in school. We need to get these kids involved in the community in constructive ways. That is the only way we're going to tackle this gang crime. It's not going to happen overnight, but we need to get these kids engaged. And the racism and the hatred can all go. Right-wing policies are what cause this mess. We need to fix it. And I'm going to leave it here because I've ranted for 20 minutes now. Hopefully my next video won't be so big, but it's driving me nuts to see so many members of our community falling into this racism and hatred and fear, this spiral of fear. It's not right, and it's not going to fix anything. Clarissa and I out. See you next time.